Alrighty, well, I started with an athletic background. Growing up, I was always a tomboy, and I enjoyed, hanging around with the boys and competing with them. So I've always been very, very competitive. When I was younger, I initially gotten into swimming, and I was a competitive swimmer, and I've always been athletic. I've enjoyed sports. I was in fast pitch in high school. I golfed. I did tennis, downhill skiing, water skiing. I did just about everything. But I didn't really start weight training until I was in the military. I did a little bit of lifting when I was in high school. However, it was nothing serious. I wish I would have pursued the weightlifting a little bit earlier because I was a lot stronger when I went back this time around and water skied. I was like, wow, I'm really strong. So I really, I do enjoy lifting weights, and I'd encourage anyone to do it. It's a lot of fun.
What led you to start lifting weights?
Basically what happened was I was in the military. I went in the military initially right after high school.
And she's calling the military the Air Force, by the way. If you want to call the Air Force.
Oh, I was security police, so it was a little bit more hardcore. But I went into the military after high school, and I was stationed overseas right away. I was at Incirlik Air Base in Turkey, the main support base for Desert Shield. And either you drank and you went to the NCO club, or you worked out. So I did the drinking thing for a little while, and I started getting pretty heavy, and I didn't like that. So I started going to the gym, and a lot of guys took me under their wing at the gym, and I basically went from there. I saw a picture of Linda Murray in Flex magazine, and that was all she wrote. So those two together really were the impetus for me to start the bodybuilding, and I knew I wanted to look like Linda Murray and eventually one day compete.
Do you lift very heavy?
As far as my training style, I do a high intensity, high volume style of training, and I do cycle it, so it's a form of periodization. But I keep track of how much volume I do. Basically, I do 2.5% more than I did my last workout, so my body's constantly going like this. And again, I cycle my intensity parameters, so I'm not always beating my central nervous system down by going heavy all the time, but I do like going heavy. I really enjoy going heavy. In fact, 2 weeks ago, I squatted 475 for a double on my squats, and I do a lot of heavy compound movements, so the squatting, the deadlifting, overhead pressing, things that are pretty basic, not a lot of foo-foo bodybuilding type of training.
How much do you overhead lift?
I've actually gone up to 245. I've gotten that for a double as well.
What kind of lift is it? Like
it's a seated military press, so again, it's like you're seated like this. You grab the barbell off the rack, and it's up and over. So I've done 245 pounds like that.
Just once or for reps?
A double. Usually what I'll go up to is between 185 and 225. I do a lot of overhead pressing. So that's really allowed me to get a strong, upper chest and pretty good delts. So.
What do you think are your strongest body parts?
My personality.
Smile,
yeah. I would probably have to say probably my quads. That was not always my strongest body part. I've had to work very, very hard for the muscle that I do have. I'm pretty much so a endomeso where, you gain muscle relatively easy, but I've really, really had to work hard, like I said, on my lower body. A lot of high volume, a lot of heavy squatting. But again, it's, when I say high volume, it's, 315 for like 10 sets of 10. So that's what I'm talking about. It's pretty intense. So, yeah.
Well, you mentioned quads, but it's really your hamstrings, your glutes.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah, I think my glutes are pretty good too. But again, my quads aren't very receptive to the training, so I've really had to do a lot of volume and really, I don't want to say pound them into the ground to get them to respond, but I'm very thankful that I've gotten them to where they are now. So.